front of me. I need to tell you.
Hello, and welcome back to my channel where we are all crime, all black, all the time.
All right, Mr. Winfrey, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give in the matters pending before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you state your true, correct, and legal name for the record, sir?
Jimmie, J as in jam, I as in igloo, M as in money, M as in multi, and Y as in young. Middle name Carlton. C is in currency, A is in Atlanta, R is in rich, L is in long, T is in Tommy, O is in options, N is in Nancy. The last name is Winfrey, W is in win, I is in incomplete, N is in Nancy, F is in free, R is in royalty, E is in entertainment, and Y is in young. Jimmie Carlton.
That was entertaining.
That was creative.
Thank you.
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine, sir?
No, sir.
Is there any medication that you take regularly or on a daily basis that you have not taken today that would affect your ability to understand why you're before this honorable court?
No.
And Mr. Winfrey, can you tell me how old are you, sir, and how far have you gone in school?
I'm 34 years old. I made it with the 8th grade education. When I went to prison, I attained a high school diploma through Stratford Institution,
Okay.
private college.
So you have your GED?
High school diploma.
Okay. And are you able to read, write, and understand the English language, sir?
Yes.
Do you understand that you are charged with the following offenses in indictment 22 SC 183572, count 1, RICO, count 24, which is the violation of the Drug Act for the possession of oxycodone, and then count 25, which is the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. And then you understand that the state will be no prosecute count 26.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about that for your attorney, Ms. Miller?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges? And if you pled not guilty or remain silent, you may receive a jury trial.
Yes, sir.
Have you had enough time to understand and speak with your attorney, Ms. Miller, about all the facts and circumstances of your case and why you're here today?
Yes, sir.
And do you need any additional time to discuss any questions or concerns that you have in relation to the plea that you're before this court to take today?
No, sir.
And are you satisfied with the services that Ms. Miller's provided?
Absolutely.
And Ms. Miller, do you waive formal reading of the indictment?
I do.
As well as any defects in the indictment, including any with respect to your client's name for the purposes of this plea?
I do.
And Mr. Winfrey, has your attorney advised you of the minimum and maximum sentence for each charge you'll be pleading guilty to?
Yes, sir.
And did Ms. Miller advise for count 1, the conspiracy to violate RICO, minimum is 5 years, maximum is 20 years?
Yes, sir.
And for the possession of oxycodone, did she advise the minimum is 1 year, the maximum is 3 years?
Yes, sir.
And lastly, for count 25, did Ms. Miller advise that the minimum for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon is 1 year, the maximum is 10 years?
Yes, sir.
And do you have any questions about the minimum and maximum sentence you could potentially be facing based on your plea of guilty here today?
No, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Winfrey, do you understand this is a negotiated plea of guilty, which means the state and your counsel, Ms. Miller, will make a joint recommendation to the court as it relates to a sentence, but the court does not have to follow that sentence and can sentence you to the maximum on each charge and run the maximum for each charge consecutively or one after another if she sees fit.
Yes.
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 And do you understand that this plea may be used to enhance sentencing on other convictions in this jurisdiction as well as in other jurisdictions, including the federal court, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Winfrey, do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, a guilty plea will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation, regardless of any advice given to you by your attorney or anybody else?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you waive any and all defenses by entering a plea of guilty here today?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Winfrey, do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up the following rights: the right to trial by jury, the right to remain silent, to not incriminate yourself, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to the assistance of counsel hired by you or court appointed if you were unable to afford an attorney at the trial of your case, the right to presumption of innocence, the right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence, the right to subpoena witnesses and to compel the production of evidence, the right to have the charges against you proved beyond a reasonable doubt by the state of Georgia, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges after trial. You understand that you are waiving or giving up all of those rights by pleading guilty here today?
Yes, sir.
And has anyone, Mr. Winfrey, forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea before this honorable court here today?
No, sir.
And is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea because you're in fact guilty?
Yes, sir.
And as it relates to the charges, how do you plead to count 1 and indictment number 22, SC 183572, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
And how do you plead to count 24, the possession of oxycodone?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
And lastly, how do you plead to count 25, which is possession of a firearm by a convicted felon?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
And Mr. Winfrey, is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with full knowledge of all the charges against you, sir?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that you may only have a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that you have only 4 years from today for a felony charge to file what's called a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this guilty plea?
Yes, sir.
And is that something that you and Ms. Miller spoke about before today and that you fully understand?
I'm understanding all my rights of the guilty plea.
All right, let me just add, in addition, you have 30 days from today to file a direct appeal, and you have until the end of this term of court to file a motion that would seek to withdraw your guilty plea. Doesn't mean any of those would be granted, but those are the time limits. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Your Honor, this time I believe you have the indictment, but I would tender the indictment.
Yes.
Had the case proceeded to trial, again, as it relates to this defendant, Mr. Winfrey, the state would have been able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that between the dates of January 24th, 2013, May 18th, 2022, Mr. Winfrey did participate and conspire while being associated with YSL to acquire directly or indirectly interest in United States currency and other personal property through a pattern of racketeering, as well as did conspire to conduct and participate directly and indirectly through that enterprise of YSL through a pattern of racketeering through the furtherance of a conspiracy with the objectives of preserving, protecting, and enhancing the reputation of YSL and the power and territory of that enterprise through the racketeering activity, which included murder, assaults, and other threats of violence, as well as obstructing law enforcement investigations and court proceedings through witness intimidation and attacks upon law enforcement, Your Honor. As it relates to counts 24 and 25, factual basis, that would be for the plea on both of those counts. Mr. Winfrey on July 10th, 2021 was pulled over here in the city of Atlanta. A traffic stop was conducted while he was in a 2021 Dodge Durango. During the traffic stop, the officer smelled a strong odor of marijuana, to which at that point the vehicle was searched, and there were several grams of marijuana, which he's not charged with, found in the car in a book bag, as well as 5 pills that were later tested by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, testing positive for oxycodone. Also within the glove compartment of the vehicle, a Glock 21 45 caliber handgun was located. Mr. Winfrey had a prior felony conviction out of Cobb County for participation in criminal street gang activity and aggravated assault and other related charges as it relates to the shooting of Lil Wayne's tour bus, Your Honor. That would be the factual basis as it relates to the charges in which Mr. Winfrey is pleading guilty to today. As this state because of that felony conviction. There's one other felony conviction out of Florida. It was also a drug conviction where he was sentenced on November 5th, 2020, and successfully completed that sentence, which ended on November 4th, 2023. This time, oh, I apologize. The recommendation to the court that we made as a joint recommendation by council relates to count one, 10 years to serve, 2 years of credit for time served, release and time served, the balance to be served on probation, with the special conditions that the defendant no contact with any of his named co-defendants and any witnesses that will be testifying in future trials as we move forward, as well as the normal standard conditions that you must not violate the law, no firearms as he is a felon, and maintain employment.
Okay, so with regard to him not having any contact with future witnesses, are you going to put a list together for me to put in the conditions?
Yes, Your Honor, we will provide the same list that we used for the prior pleas.
Okay.
As relates to Mr. Williams. I'll get those to
All right.
Mr. Rosco.
Okay. Okay, so, and what is the recommended sentence for the other two counts?
The current sentence, Your Honor, as relates to count 24, 2 years to serve, credit for time served, release and time served, and as relates to possession of firearm, convicted felon, 7 years probation to run concurrent with count one.
Okay. All right. Ms. Miller, is there anything the defense wants to put on the record?
Yes, Judge, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Winfrey is prepared to take this plea today. As Your Honor is aware, he has been in custody continuously for 18 months. Our position is certainly counts 24 and 25. He was in possession of the pills and the marijuana, and the gun was in the car. As it relates to the RICO, he did want to make clear to the court, understanding the nature of a conspiracy, much of that stuff that he is not charged with, he does not have specific knowledge of. However, he does understand that there is a sufficient factual basis for his plea to the RICO count. And, as one could imagine, he is ready to go home and put this behind him. He has known Jeffrey Williams since he was new community. And much of this, as we have learned, started as kids who were friends and developed into a good deal of success for Mr. Winfrey and Mr. Williams in the music industry. That is what I would like the court to focus on. Mr. Winfrey has been gainfully employed in the music industry as a management professional. He manages talent. He also has successfully booked and promoted tours. That is the line of work that he will continue to be in while he is on bond. Of course, he has a criminal history, and so his options for employment are somewhat limited, but he has carved out a profession in this world, and he looks forward to continuing that. There are many other artists that he works with, and he hopes to re-engage in that upon his release. My understanding from just to clarify for Mr. Winfrey, to the extent that, for example, if Mr. Winfrey is working with Kendrick Lamar, who is a famous artist, and Jeffrey Williams, should he be on a tour together, that the no contact means no personal contact. There may be occasions where they are in the same arena together because of a tour that involves multiple artists. I don't know that this will happen, Judge, but I am anticipating this and just want to be really clear. for Mr. Winfrey's sake and for the record's sake, that the prosecutor is intending for there to be no personal contact between these two individuals for the duration of Mr. Winfrey's sentence and or Mr. Williams' sentence. As I understand, he has a similar condition. What we don't want is if, for example, Mr. Winfrey is able to book a tour with another artist whose management company is negotiating with him, and it relates to Mr. Williams, that he would be in violation. He just wants to understand the scope of it. I've discussed this with the prosecutor. The prosecutor has indicated that his intent with this no contact is no personal contact, no personal phone calls, no personal text messages, no personal communications with Mr. Williams for the duration of his sentence. But it does not mean that if, for example, there is a professional opportunity where his lawyers are negotiating with Mr. Williams's lawyers, that would not be, for example, a violation of his bond. And just wanted to make that point for the record, Your Honor. But he is absolutely understanding that no contact means no personal contact whatsoever. And to the extent there is a professional reason to have contact, that will be done through third parties with Mr. Williams's third-party representatives. In addition to that, for clarity's sake, Mr. Winfrey understands that he is to have no possession whatsoever of any firearms. However, due to the nature of his work, there are occasions where professional security are hired, and I mean professional licensed security companies, as well as off-duty officers who may be around him and in possession of a gun. I've discussed this with the prosecutor. The prosecutor agrees that the no possession of a firearm certainly means no personal possession for Mr. Winfrey, but would not be implicated if, for example, a off-duty officer is working security. This does not mean, to use the prosecutor's expression, peanuts on security. He has a gun. The understanding is that the security would be a professional licensed security company and or an off-duty officer. But with those two clarifications, Your Honor, we would ask that the court accept the plea as negotiated.
All right. And is that an accurate rendition of the understanding of the special conditions? All right. And can y'all clarify for me how long Mr. Winfrey has been in custody on these charges?
Judge, the screen is showing August 13, 2023, the booking screen. Not sure what it was before.
July 13th.
So about 17 months.
That's accurate, Judge.
All right. So are y'all intending for the 2 years to be commuted to time served?
Yes, Your Honor, we could do, if you'd rather, well, you did a year, we could do 10 serving.
16 months.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. I find there to be a factual basis for this plea, and I accept it as freely, knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily entered with an understanding of all of the consequences. And I am going to sentence in accord with the recommendation as just modified on count 1, 10 years to serve 16 months with credit for time served, balance probated. On count 2, are we just saying 16 months to serve, credit for time served? And on count 3, not count 2, count 24, the second count. And then on count 25, 7 years probation, all of those sentences to run concurrently. Special conditions of your probation, you're to have no personal or social contact with any of the co-defendants in this case, and no contact whatsoever with any of the witnesses in any future trial on this indictment. You need to maintain lawful employment throughout the period of your probation, and you may not possess any firearms, with the exception that you are allowed to be around professional security with firearms to the extent that that's necessary for your lawful employment. And with regard to the no contact with the co-defendants, again, there's the exception for what is necessary for your lawful employment with regard to, being around them, but there's to be absolutely no personal or social contact. And to the extent possible, any work necessitated contact should be through third parties. All right. And then any technical violations can be handled by probation's options management. I'm going to have, hopefully there won't be any other violations, but back to me with any violations. And I'm going to tell you some version of the same thing that I said to Mr. Williams. You are in an industry where a whole lot of young people watch with great attention every detail of everything that y'all do on and off stage. And with that kind of influence and audience, you really should be trying to set a good example and an example to young kids to do something other than what you grew up with that landed you in jail very early in your life. And I commend you for having taken the time that you were in jail to further educate yourself and things like that. But y'all are very influential, and try to use that for good. All right. Good luck to you.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Winfrey wanted to say something to Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank God, Your Honor. I thank you for giving me a second chance at life. I understand totally what you said, and I was speaking to Tanya about that as well, as far as making a positive influence and allowing myself to be fruit to my community instead of poison. The way that we grew up, of the way that we thought was right, and we learned what is right. And so now I'm trying to apply right, and I appreciate you for helping me take the first step towards that. And I won't let you down by being the change. I'm going to start by changing with myself. And thank you.
Good. Thank you. Best of luck to you. All right. Thank you, Ms. Miller. Thank you, Mr. Abadi. All right. We'll see y'all at least back on the 17th, if not before. If y'all have any other pleas in the meantime that are ready to be presented, just let my chambers know. All right. Thanks. Yes. And let me give you your copy of the indictment back also.
Sorry, y'all. So, of course, somebody called me in the middle of all this, but just so I can understand, does his plea include the bus shooting, or was it just the traffic stop when they found the drugs and the gun? I just want to know if does the plea include the bus shooting, the drugs, and the gun, or just the drugs? I missed that part. I mean, I can always go back and watch it. Don't worry about it. But if that include everything, like the bus shooting too, man, Fulton County, just let everybody else. Just let everybody else out. Just let everybody else out. It's not worth it. Y'all have set these boys in jail for 2 years, telling the whole world that they were a danger to society, and they all getting probation and time served. Just let it go. Just let the rest of them boys out. So we finna do what? We finna go through this same process, 5 more times? Because you clearly yesterday you were proving that you didn't have a case. And so that's what I was saying yesterday. Like, how can you convict these other boys on this RICO? And there has been proven that there was no RICO. Yesterday proved there was no RICO. So I feel like the RICO charge for everybody else needs to be taken off. Now, whatever other charges they got, drugs, guns, whatever. Y'all got to handle that. But as for the overall arching RICO charge, it need to be dropped for everybody else who got it, because they have not proven. Like, how fucked up is it that 2 or 3 people get charged with RICO and may get convicted of it, and then everybody else don't? That's no. If we're supposed to be under the same gang, we're supposed to be contributing to the same gang conspiracy, then that doesn't even make sense. If they got acquitted of RICO, then why should I be convicted of a RICO? And we're supposed to be a part of the same gang. That shit doesn't make sense. Maybe it makes sense in the legal world, and I'm just slow when it comes to the legal world. That could be very much it. And not King Slime, right? And Viverito said there was no hierarchy. So I'm still watching the interview with the jurors. I had to pause in the middle of it. I was supposed to take my kid to school, got to the car wouldn't start, my battery dead, so I had a lot going on. So I haven't finished watching the interview with the jurors. I want to watch it. I want to finish watching it, and then I want to, like, I guess, do a live or do a video and watch it so we can discuss it, because they've already said some things that I want to talk about that we've already probably talked about, but it's just really interesting. And I was saying this throughout the trial. It was amazing to me to be watching Fox or Law and Crime and see 6,000-7,000 people in the chat. Different people, all walks of life, different nationalities, different everything. But everybody was saying the same shit. Like, you had Karen that lived in the most suburb of the suburbs, the most suburban neighborhood in the suburbs that the suburbs could have. And Karen was saying the same thing that everybody else was saying watching the trial. And so that was amazing to me to see how everybody could just really be on the same page like that. And I was wondering about the jury. Like, if we're all thinking this, then what is the jury thinking? Like, are they looking at it? Obviously, they were looking at it from a different lens. They had to. But I was always curious about that. And they have, when the little bit that I have watched, they have shown me that they were all on the same page that we were on. As far as, like, just observing stuff. Just observing simple shit. Like, I found it very telling. It's something I do want to talk about more. But I found it very, very telling, and I found it very, very problematic that Adrienne Love was such of a sore loser. Not only did she just walk out and leave and left Abate sitting there by himself, she did not go speak to them jurors. That's not what's the word? Minute to this case. That's something that typically always happens at the end of a trial, especially a long trial or a high profile trial, anything. But at the end of a trial, it is absolutely normal for both sides and the judge to meet with the jury. It happens all the time because the state wants to know what the jury was thinking, what they could have did differently, where they went wrong. The defense wants to know. It's normal. But Adrienne did not meet with those jurors. They said Simone came in there and, she was smiling and she talked to them. She seemed to be interested in what they were saying. But it's just, even if she wasn't interested in what they were saying, she could have been still mad as a hornet, as I'm sure she was. She showed up. She put her big girl panties on. She put a smile on her face and she showed the fuck up. Adrienne Love didn't even address the jurors, y'all. That is a lot, especially when you have taken 2 years out of these folks' lives. You spent the greater part of a year yelling at these people. You spent the greater part of a year absolutely yelling at these people. The very least you could do is go in there and shake their hand and say thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing me to yell at you. Thank you for allowing me to talk to you like y'all slow. Thank you for allowing me to treat y'all like children. Thank you for allowing me to sit over here and make all these faces and turn my nose up in front of y'all and act like y'all didn't see it. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to say whatever the fuck I wanted to Judge Glanville and get my way. Thank you so much. Like, she didn't even bother to show her fucking face. And that is a problem. That is a problem being a professional, because you are supposed to be professional. We all know they was mad as hell they lost yesterday. The professional thing to do would have been to not show it to the not be a sore loser. I mean, you can't help but show it, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they had their own personal moments, but like I said, when it came to the jury, by her not showing up to talk to that jury, she basically was saying, "Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. I don't give a fuck about y'all 2 years. Damn y'all jobs. I don't give a damn about that either. Y'all didn't see shit my way. Fuck y'all." That is what Adrian just said. That's what she said without saying. Just because she didn't show her face. Even if she felt the kind of way, she could have went in there, said hello, introduced herself, thanked them for their service, and she could have left. She didn't show up. And that is a problem. That is a professional problem, because that shows you cannot do your job professionally. You cannot do your job without emotion. You cannot do your job without taking shit personal, because everybody saw she took this case very, very personal. And you just proved what everybody was thinking. You can't be a prosecutor if you take shit, if you can't. No, she's in the wrong line of work, people. This lady is in the wrong line of work. That's just like basketball. I used to play basketball. I was one of those kids. My mama had me involved in every pee-wee sport there was, just to give me something to damn do. I played basketball. I played softball. I know that when the game is over, even if you lose, you walk by and you slap everybody on the hand and say, "Good game, good game, good game, good game, good game." You hate the game they played. They beat your ass. It doesn't matter. It's called sportsmanship. Good game. Good game. It's called sportsmanship. You are not the best lawyer in the world. There is gonna be another lawyer that is better than you, and that is good. She is I'm not even gonna say she's acting like she never lost the case. Adrian Love has a very high conviction rate. I want to say it was like 98%. She typically does win all of her cases. I don't know the correct. I'm about to fuck this word up. I don't know the correct statistics on her, but I do know she has a very high conviction rate. She wasn't expecting to lose, because she doesn't lose. With people who don't lose, they don't know how to handle it when they do. But being in her profession and being how long she's been doing it, she should know by now how to handle a loss. And she has handled this one poorly, very poorly. And if we see it, Whitaker sees it too. Whitaker sees it too, because even with Jimmie Winfrey's hearing, guess who was there? Simone. She might have been sitting at the back table. She might not have said anything. She was there. She showed up. The show must go on. Adrian is terrible for that. That's why I'll come back and bite her in the ass. They's going to come back and bite her in the ass. Everybody sees it. And the fact that these jurors then already made a YouTube and a TikTok page that is wow. Yes, potential jurors could be watching. And she is completely fucked up her credibility. She's fucked up her credibility as a prosecutor, because now we can't believe anything you say. You're lying. Everything you say is a lie. The jurors thought she were lying. But anyway, yeah, I was muted because my 5-year-old just came in here asking for cereal again. Yes, he needs to be at school, but like I said, my battery's dead, so I'm waiting on somebody to come jump my car off. But is it grandma? No, I'm not talking to grandma. Anyway. So I guess that's it for today. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more pleas in between now and the 17th. That was another shady Paige moment yesterday when she was like, well, after the verdict, she was like, well, I anticipate that there are gonna be some more pleas coming. So because you gotta, I mean, you have to offer these people pleas now because you have not proved the conspiracy. Oh, and there was another thing I want to say. Stop, put that down. Get out my pocketbook. I'm gonna just have to play back the verdict. And then because when I listened to what something the juror said and what happened yesterday, I'm gonna just have to play back the verdict. But I think that Paige already knew the verdict. I think everybody already knew. Yesterday was a formality. What they did yesterday, they could have did Monday. Yesterday was a formality. And then so I'm gonna finish watching the interview and I'll get the point I'm talking about and I'll line it up with the verdict and then we'll talk about it. But I don't know what's a good time. Yeah, Paige knew. Because if y'all remember yesterday when she read the verdict, I was like low-key pissed off how she read Yak's verdict. She was like, okay, Mr. Kendrick, can you please stand? Hell, he ain't even got up good enough. And she already like, Mr. Kendrick, you've been acquitted. You're not guilty of no charges. Like, it was just, I just didn't like the way she said it. But she said it like she knew. I don't even think she read a paper. Like, you know what I'm saying? She said it like she knew already. It just was like, Mr. Kendrick, can you please stand? He damn near like I said, he hadn't even really stood up yet. Not guilty of no charges. Like, it's like, and then, but he couldn't even have time to take in what the fuck you just said, because after what I just faced, you telling me not guilty of no charges, ma'am, I need you to say that slower. I need you to say that slower, and I need you to give me a minute to take that shit in. Like, ma'am. And so, hold on, we need this. So, I feel like she knew already. She knew. And before he could even take it all in, she was already moved on to Shannon's verdict. Like, ma'am. Like, I didn't like the way she did that, but the juror said that they said it was one juror when it came to Shannon, and he wanted to sleep on it. That's what she said. She said he needed to sleep on it. And basically that was why it came out yesterday, because he wanted to sleep on it. It could have came out the other day, but it was one juror that was kind of like on the fence. And that, to me, lets me know Paige knew. Hell, the way Fulton County been running shit, I don't put it past them to have been reading the jurors' notebooks to see what they were thinking, to see what was going on. I don't put it past them at all. But I'm going to finish watching the interview and I guess catching up on some of the other stuff I missed last night when I went to sleep like a damn baby at 8 o'clock. I have the other trial going, the Ole Miss trial. I will make a like very, very short video, like just a news clip about what that trial is about, because I know some people may not know, but the body has never been found in this trial, which is interesting. The body has never been found, and I do believe that the victim was a transmission. I mean, I'm not even saying that to be funny. I'm just trying to say it to be YouTube correct. But yeah, I'm gonna finish watching this interview and then I'll probably jump back on live a little later since I can't drive anywhere anyway. So yeah, I'm stuck in the house. I do have somebody coming to jump my car off. I have 2 cars, but my Lexus has been sitting in my driveway for 3 years, 2 years. It has not been driven, has not been moved, has not been cranked up, has not been anything. And the plan was to maybe give it to my son, or at least let him have it as a practice car. But I went to go to try to start it 2 weeks ago, and that motherfucker didn't do shit. I think my car was letting me know that's what you get for letting me sit here in this damn driveway for 2 years and not cranking me up. Oh, so you got a new car. You got a new car, and you forgot about Old Faithful over here. You forgot about me, and you didn't even crank me up for 2 years. Now you want me to crank up, and that ain't happening. That's basically what my Lexus said, because otherwise I just use the Lexus to jump off my car. But yeah, so I gotta wait till somebody comes, and then when I've told y'all that I've moved outside of the city, so I live like 20 minutes from everybody. So I gotta wait for somebody to come and jump my car off. Ordinarily, we'd be fine. But the toddler is here, so I have been asked for a million different things in the span of a very short time. And if you're not a parent, you don't know what that does to your irritation level. Well, let me tell you. It fucks it up. It fucks it up. When you have been asked for a million things in the span of 30 minutes, your brain just shuts the fuck down, because how can I be asked for a million things in 30 minutes? Leave me the fuck alone. You want to say that, but they're kids. You can't tell them to leave you the fuck alone. Well, you can. And some parents do. But that's just not me. You know, I'm not going to tell my 5-year-old, leave me the fuck alone. I might say something along the lines. I'm not going to tell my 5-year-old, leave me the fuck alone. No, I'm going to say something very similar. Anyway, let me finish watching and catching up on shit, and I'll get back with y'all later. Bye. Oh, shit. Nope. Got it in the live, Veronica. Psh. Am I slow today? Let me eat a gummy. That is going to get me right.